Another Splunk update. He seems to be doing good again. There was a time not too long ago where I thought he was going backwards again, but now he seems like he's getting better again. The left hand looked like it was getting worse, but he did take from my hand recently, so that's good. I can always tell when he's feeling a little better because he goes a little more back to his old self and takes a nut from my hand. But look at him, he's just so sweet. Oh God, he doesn't deserve whatever has been going on with his hands. It's been months. He got through such cold times in the winter like this with no fur on his hands and just hanging them. He would just hang them in front of him. You want to take from my hand? You want to take from? No, I'm too crunchy. Sometimes they get skittish when I get crunchy in the ice. We had such a night last night, didn't we, guys? There's 2-pack. Eyes all aglow. There's 2-pack. There's Condo Girl, and I saw Pippi's up here and Rover already. Not this one. This one's a little girl that was Supergirl. That's who that is. And then this is Rover. And oops, sorry, Rover. It looks like they got the flash on here by accident. And then I think this is Pips. I think this is the Pips. So we got all the girls. Now what? Yep, there's Pippi in the eye with the eyes. Yeah, it's Pippi. Oh, yeah, you want to come up? Uh-oh, you get it? There you go. And what happened last night? Let me turn off this flash. Okay, now I can do this without glaring in their eyes. So what happened last night? It was raining, and I happened to be spending the night here. I'm glad I did. I had the window open, and so I could hear what was going on. All of a sudden, I mean, it was such a racket. I can't even. So this is Condo Girl again, and there's 2-pack. It was so loud. It was so loud, and it was animals just screaming and terrified. I couldn't tell what was going on. It sounded like I don't know how many animals fighting. And so I was so scared, for the squirrels. So I came outside, and I figured out which tree it was coming from, and it's this big nest at the top of a tree. I can show that in a minute. Not on this yard, not on this lot. It was on a neighboring lot, and I didn't know what was going on, but I could hear it, and it was awful. I mean, it was just, there's no way to describe it other than it was awful. It was up there somewhere, and Pippi lives right there. So I was like, oh crap, So I went inside. I got one of my industrial flashlights that has a strobe. Let me show it. I should have taken a video in the dark. It's amazing, actually, in the dark. There you go. You can see. This is in the light, so you can imagine in the dark what that did. And I did that up at the what I figured out were raccoons. And I cannot believe how high up in the tree the raccoons were. I just can't even believe it. And there were at first I thought there were 3 of them because I saw 3 pairs of eyes shining back at me in the strobe. And, hey, Condo Girl. Oh, she grabbed one. Okay, you good? So I saw 3 pairs of eyes shining back at me. I'm like, oh my God. And I thought it was 3 raccoons going after squirrels in a nest. So I was just strobing and yelling, middle of the night. Neighbors, I'm sure, are thrilled. But they might have been happy that someone was shutting that racket up because it was really, really loud. All those animals freaking out, fighting, whatever they were doing. And then 2 of the pairs of eyes eventually did start to come down the tree. But then once they got to the base, they started going back up. So I was screaming at them, no, wrong way, other way. And I'm sitting there strobing and screaming at these raccoons. The other pair of eyes, the 3rd pair, stayed at the nest and was looking at me, just staring at me into the strobe. And I think now that might have been another animal, maybe a squirrel, I don't know, that was like, oh my God, somebody came to help me in the middle of the night, And, oh, there's somebody. And Pippi, I'm sure, was happy because it was right near her tree. So she had to have been freaking out, wondering what is that? It was a horrible noise. And yeah, I could tell by the way they were coming down the tree, those were raccoons. So I think it's interesting that so the racket, that all that noise happened at 5:30 in the morning, and which is the middle of the night now. That it was in the middle of the night as far as darkness goes, but it wasn't like in the middle like 3 o'clock. So it was 5:30, which is still very dark here because it's March. And my girls all came and got me. Like now here it is, it's like not even 2 hours later, and and all my girls came to see me. Pippi, Rover, 2-pack, Condo Girl, they all undoubtedly heard it. There was no missing it. And I think it's cool that they all checked in and let me know they're okay, because I did worry that I heard so much noise. It's good to see the raccoons didn't go up their trees and do anything. Condo Girl lives in a cabin, so I know she would have been okay. I think Rover doesn't live in a cabin now, but she may have moved into a cabin I put in for her. Pippi, however, lives in an open hole, so I did worry about her. I can't believe how high the raccoons got. That's what I did not know. And I used to think the raccoons can't crawl out onto the end of a branch. They did. It was I can't see the nest from here. I'll have to put on my boots and stuff. But yeah, I can't. It taught me the raccoons can do more than I thought they can. There are some squirrels out here right now that are really good looking. And I'm not saying 2-pack that you're not one of them, because you're growing on me. But look at Bobby Brown. This is Bobby with a Y. Look at that tail. Woo! There we go. Someone there. There's someone here. I think that's Mrs. Brown. Right there. We got 3 in a row here. And I think that's Mrs. Brown. We need some. Oh no, we need some. Here's Roby. She's always good looking. She's a handsome girl. You know, it's not every day you call a squirrel handsome, but I think she's handsome. And not every time you call a female handsome either. I think she'd probably kick my ass if she knew what it meant. I believe this is Mrs. Brown. And here's Robert Brown, Robert Downey Brown Jr. right there. So we've seen Robert, one of the Bobbies, 2-pack. Robert and 2-pack. Okay, anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. And then, yep, here is Mrs. Brown. There's Mrs. Brown. And here's White Tip. Here's White Tip with her little white tip. So we haven't seen Bobby with an I yet. This one I think is Robert. That was just with me. It's easier if you can see the back. Robert Downey Brown Jr. has like a tortoise shell back. There's one of them. This looks like Bobby with a Y. Yeah, because he's black on the back and brown legs and a yellow tail and yellow behind the ears. So that's Bobby with a Y. So I'm looking for Bobby with an I, but this happens. I'm not that worried because it happens sometimes where I'll see 3 of them and not the other one, and I get worried. And then here's Mrs. Brown. She's the mom of all the Bobbies, and Robert, and Pinky, who I also just saw. She came in the house not too long ago. I will feel better when I see Bobby with an I, but I'm not worried. Because it happens sometimes where I'll see the mom and 3 of them, and then, yeah, here's Robert Downey Brown Jr. He doesn't take from the hand.